Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean 2. Last time we went to sleep and we are going to continue on Rena's path. Do note for the future, anytime Rena is the on-screen character, it'll be her path, and anytime Claude is the on-screen character, it'll be his path. That'll continue throughout the entire game. I may not always put the little notes in as I did in the previous episode, but do note that in Rena's path, you're able to get that treasure, the blackberry in her room. You'll be able to get that on Claude's path as well, but we can't go say hi to him because he's sleeping. So Rena gets up first, and she's going to go to the Shingo Forest, since apparently that's all she does. I really don't know why. Well, knowing what I do about the plot, I do know why. But yeah, she, oops, stop that. There we go. Yeah, she decides to go into the forest pretty much every day, so it seems. We got the impression of that in the very first episode there, when we figured things out with her for the first time. This, well, I'll probably be a little quiet for this scene. This is Rena's theme in music box form. There are two versions of her theme in the game. Probably both versions are probably the saddest themes in the game, which for one of the title or one of the main characters is doesn't really bode well, does it? Oh, they're talking downstairs. This, of course, is a memory. Oh. Well, damn. You can understand the pain even though we can't see the characters in question. If he were not here, he isn't here. Goddamn weird translation. Whoa! That's something to overhear. Holy crap. Poor Rena. Do note that this pendant is something that Rena had when she was found by Westa. She was raised here, so in a sense, Westa is still her mother. Just not her biological mother. So yes, this is a story of who am I? At this point, Claude shows up and we have a scene that plays out the same on both paths. But if we go back to where we began the episode, we go to Claude's path. He, of course, wakes up later, as we found out, than Rena, which is why I played her path first. He wakes up in the mayor's house, where he spent the night. And the mayor is actually in the house this time, and people will get out of the way! Well, that's good. Cannot find what you want in the village? Try going north to the town of Salva. And north of Arlia. There's only one way to go, and there's only one other dot on the map. So yeah, please take this sword. The Sword of Light attracts too much attention. Feel free to use the bedroom upstairs, take a rest anytime you want, which is nice. Yes, we get a long sword, so now the fact that we will be able to use a sword in battle actually makes sense. It is better than nothing, so we'll take it. And if we go in here, we can talk to Westa here, and says that Rena's not here, which of course we already know, but from Claude's perspective, he has no idea. So I probably should have bought some blueberries, but I didn't remember to do it. Not with Rena today. No. hold on to her tightly. She's quite popular, you know. Yeah. And so, when we do that, we could go north to Salva, but there's an additional scene here. Do note that right here, there's nobody. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, if we go into the forest, the scene that I was talking about, which is mandatory on Rena's path, is optional on, I think it's optional anyway. Either way, I always come and watch the scene, because why not? And yes, both both paths play this scene basically the same way. Now, from Claude's perspective, you think, oh, she's just not feeling well or something like that. But knowing what we do about Rena's path, that she was thinking about the fact that her biological mother is unknown to her, yeah, she's got good reason to not look so well. Would only be natural. Of course it would. The warrior would appear whenever we were in trouble. Now, lots of people are in trouble in lots of places. So when I saw you, exactly like the legend says, I thought, must be him. Logic, simplicity itself, right? Sorry that I'm not your warrior. That's kind of a weird line. You didn't do anything wrong. It was all my fault. Just like, you know... Is Claude twitching there? I don't know. Like, back when this game came out, this was an Enix title before Square and Enix merged together. I'm not sure if they chose the name Claude specifically because it sounded like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII or not, but it's kind of annoying. You know, your blonde-haired hero that wears kind of bland colors for the most part. Yeah, the similarities are not lost on me. This part of the scene plays out in Rena's path only, and I should have made a note about this. Yes. And there's the little dots, and then this one line I should be getting back. On Claude's path, because this happened first, Claude walked off first, so we should show this off first. We took a walk. And, oh, now there's this guy here, who's a question mark guy and won't talk to us. Okay, whatever. Not a big deal. I didn't, but you may want to buy a couple of blueberries. You'll find some, but you may want to. It's entirely up to you. I was expecting to buy them in the next town, but they didn't let me for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't know if that was just a temporary thing or what the deal was. The forests are dangerous. I think there are some slightly more powerful monsters in the forest, but anything that you fight is easy enough to kill. Do note that at this point, Claude still has the ability to use his phaser gun thingy and do 700 damage when his normal attack does like 50 to 100 or something like that. So yeah, you can basically one-shot all the enemies around here anyway. If you want to hear lots of stories, you should go to the bar. It's not the only place we want to go. There's one guy up here, and talking to him gives you some information about later on in the plot. The south end of the continent of Flacker, working on some odd device. Well, we'll figure that out if and when we get there. Oh, come on, you know we're getting there. You could talk to everybody. Most of them are not particularly important around here. Even this guy isn't. This guy bugs me. He's hard to steal from, and I'll get into what that means later. But yeah, he's the one who tells you about talent, so you'll think to check your talent screen and figure out, oh crap, I'm, half an hour, 45 minutes into this game, and now I know that I need to restart because I have crappy talents. Do note that was the Salva drift, and it has been closed due to the cave-in caused by the earthquake, which they had talked about in Arlia. This is the only house we have to go into. The Lord of the Mansion is away on journey, and Master Allen is also busy. Okay, sure. Well, we'll leave in a minute. First, we want to loot some treasure. Portrait B. There are portraits in this game, and they serve zero purpose, except for to sell. card a very pretty stone. I think she said stone. Anyway, it is a stone. There's one other person to talk to about that. Just kind of note that for later. Yeah, once you go into that one, I don't know if you have to talk to anybody, but no response from the communicator, so he has nothing really to do. So time to go back to Arlia. I think it's this guy? Yeah, a strange stone was discovered in the mine, said to have a value of 50,000 full. Full is the currency in Star Ocean games, as we know. And yeah, they also say that the mayor's son, Alan, embezzled it. Speaking of treasure, a heavy ring is basically a garbage ring. I think it gives 1 defense point. It is completely useless, so we're just going to sell that later. I thought there was a treasure in there, but I was wrong, so just ignore that. Yeah, so again, we could level up Claude if you wanted to. There's no real point. You can make it between 2 cities without running into a battle, so that's all I do. But once we get back in there, a scene starts to play, and I don't want to go over that one quite yet, because I want to figure out why that scene is playing. So we want to leave here, and on Rena's path, we get to talk to Alan, who they were saying was away or was busy, but he was minding the mansion. He is the mayor's son in Salva there. This is Alan Tax. I don't know why his name is Tax. Maybe because he's part of the government or something? I really don't know. It's kind of a weird name, but sure, why not? What are you laughing about anyway? Preparations are all complete. Preparations for what? Preparations are complete for holding our marriage? I didn't know she was engaged. What are you talking about? Oh. Apparently it's, well, I guess not a shotgun wedding, but a spear wedding. Oh. Apparently she does not want to. So, yeah, we're not in a good situation right now. I haven't gone into the menu to really look at how Rena is set up, but she is actually a mage. I kind of mentioned that in the last episode there. So yeah, she's not really fit to be fighting 3 soldiers and their boss. Not on her own, anyway. Which makes the end of this video kind of weird, but anyway, we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, on Rena's path, you realize what exactly happens here. The stone says so. Is anyone else getting Final Fantasy Tactics flashbacks here? Yeah, kind of. I believe this game was made before Tactics, so I guess Tactics technically stole it from here, or neither stole it from anything, and it doesn't really matter. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's just kind of odd that both games kind of have reference to it. They do a lot more with it in Final Fantasy Tactics than they do here. But yeah, it looks like everyone's like, yeah, don't take Rena. That's you can't do that. Why would you want to do that? Piss off. Well, straight to the point. A little bit. Make me. Okay. I don't know if he like yelled at her or something like that, or what that growl was and the vibration on the controller if you have it set. It's just kind of weird. I have no idea. This whole game is kind of weird in a lot of different ways. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it anyway. But yeah, they can't really stand in the way. Not in the terms of... It looks like just normal soldiers, really. But we learn that... yeah, so basically at this point the scene fades and something else happens. But when Claude gets back to the village, obviously, now that we know what's going on... Yeah, basically, if we don't kind of splice the two paths together, we don't really know what's going on, you know, with the whole situation. We kind of learn from talking to them. Well, we talked to one guy who said something about it, but that's about it. But yeah, it gives us a better idea of what's going on if we know both paths. It's probably better to just play one after the other, to be quite frank, but I was trying to have some fun and do something different with editing because I hadn't done it before. Again, I will mention this in this episode as well as the last one. Do tell me if you think it worked. If you don't like it, let me know, and we will try something else next time this comes up. This won't be happening all the time. There will be a vast majority of things. Things don't really play out this differently beyond the next 2 episodes. So don't worry about it happening all the time if you didn't like it, but do let me know because there are a couple of other situations. That was the weird line to me. They hired ruffians with money. Okay. So obviously with money, that didn't need to even be there. It sounds so weird. Like the money is the evil thing there in that sentence, the way that she phrases it. It's so weird. But anyway, they can't do anything because they fear reprisal from the other city and because he's got lots of connections, because he is the mayor's son. Alan, that is. So, of course, Claude is going to do the smart thing and go save somebody that he barely knows on a planet that he's not familiar with because he doesn't know how to not interfere with an underdeveloped planet. There's a trend in these games about people not knowing how to not interfere with the underdeveloped planets, even though there's a specific law, which is basically their prime directive that says don't do that. Yeah, that's pretty much Star Ocean in a nutshell. Something like that is going to happen in pretty much every game. Now, I haven't played 4 and 5, but I would guess they follow the same kind of trend. I do note that once an upcoming scene happens, you will no longer have access to that phaser. So if you wanted to grind with it with super easy battles, you would want to do that now. So I was going to buy some blueberries here, but apparently the store is closed. But we do want to pick up some equipment. We already have the longsword. We don't need any of this stuff. But we do want leather hat. Do press the square button in the shops to move some stuff around so that you can figure out what the stats are on a piece of equipment. So 2 leather helms, a pair of sandals, and some leather shoes. Or some leather greaves, sorry. There's some other kind of leather gear that... yeah, now there's a separate scene here, or a separate screen for some reason. Basically, I believe the entire sound saw Alan dragging a girl against her will into his house, and they're just going to stand there. Now, if you think back to how the phaser reacted in battle, it was kind of like a flash and a weird sound. Now it sounds like a gun. That's what he used. The thing that they specifically told him not to use in front of people, he used in front of people. And now it's almost out of energy. Won't be able to do anything with it for a while. But it doesn't matter how many times you fired it at enemies prior to this point, which is really, really funny to me. And yes, he's an idiot who does not even think about the fact that he just did that in front of people again. Anyway. There's the chef in there. We don't need to talk to you. If we go up here, there's nobody in that room. Nobody in that room. There's somebody in this room. Strange statue's been sitting there. I told you not to touch it. Appears that it's been moved. Well, where the hell's the study? Well, it's actually in there. But if we switch back to Rena's path after she got kidnapped and left Arlia, this is the scene that plays out because chronologically, this one happens first. So let's figure out what happens to Rena before we know why we're going to save her or where we're going to go save her. Don't even think about escaping. Guess what? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have to escape. Really? Game? It's really funny when it's like, yeah, that's exactly how things are going to go. And because we got to pick things up on both paths, don't worry, I won't be doing this on a long term. Sorry that he's taking you away. Master Allen has the keys to the mansion. What do you mean? We're locked in? How do you lock somebody in? Opens by the statue. Basically, they're telling you something slightly different, and I'm stupid. You're supposed to go to the front door first. I'm going to run around in circles like an idiot because I forgot that you have to do that. I'm trying to find like the specific tile that you need to be on. You don't need to be on a specific tile. You need to go and approach the front door first. Figure this out. Don't be. How stupid can I be? Of course, I know this now, but past me forgot this because past me is not very smart, apparently. Oh, figure it out already. Stop that. There you go. You figured it out. Good, stupid me. Then it plays out automatically and you don't have to do anything. Actually, I think you do have to do anything. You have to walk over to the statue, which is sparkling. Yay, it's obvious. I guess if it wasn't obvious, it would be annoying. But yeah, you go over there, you click the thing. And I kind of like this in this game, where it changes the entire room. And do note the color switch. They actually went 3D in that room and they just changed, you know, the texture ever so slightly. But yeah, it's kind of weird. They do that a few times in the game where things on the 2D screens are supposed to move. They just give you a static image, they switch, show the movement, and then switch back. Mr. Bossman. He was actually the guy who was in charge of those 2 kids in that house. I don't know why his name is Bossman. It's almost as bad as Chrono Trigger. The guy whose name was Boss, or yeah, one of those cities anyway. You gotta go clean up the ruins. Build a strange room in the interior of the Salva Drift, which is the area we're in, by the way. This is a separate entrance into the Salva Drift. You can escape into the mansion, which is locked. Secret passage leads to the Salva Drift. If you're lucky, you might be able to get through and into town. Yeah. Sure, we'll go into town. That's not going to happen. Anyway, on Claude's path, we go here and we find something that Rena has dropped that she never actually dropped on her path, which is kind of weird. Also, why do you know about her hairpin? Because this is the first time in either path that the hairpin has been mentioned. Her pendant has been mentioned, but never her hairpin. And I don't think it's ever brought up again. So I don't know how he knew about it, but okay, sure thing. This game is weird. And again, we hit the same thing, go talk to the same guy, and then we'll be able to save. At this point, the dungeon, the Salva Drift, plays out as a dungeon on both paths. Each character gets to go through it alone. It's a lot easier for Claude as a natural fighter, but Rena has healing magic, so she can heal herself. So I guess that kind of balances things out a little bit. She's actually not horrible as a fighter, but she didn't get a chance to buy new equipment like Claude did, so Claude's going to have a much better time at it. She wasn't actually taken. She was loose. She walked there. But yeah, basically we're going to head into the back of this Salva drift to the room that this guy built. Well, isn't that nice? Anyway, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Next time we will go through this dungeon. I'm still not sure whose path we'll go, but anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.